Hello and welcome to Football Talk, the podcast. It's me, Dave, and Josh is with me. And, well, welcome everybody. It's your chance to get involved. Sit back and relax, because we're going to keep you up to date with this week's football that's been happening. We've got news. I get my brain challenged by Josh's quiz. We review the Premier League football, and then you can check out our sensible betting, of which only one of us partook this week, because alcohol did flow. Then finally,
not sensible to bet while drunk, is it?
It's not sensible to bet while drunk, exactly. And then I'll be sending Josh an unsolicited wiki pick for him to stare blankly at and try and guess the player. And he screwed me over last week with Russell Holt, so I've enacted revenge, I think is what we're gonna say. I think that's a fair way to describe what I've sent you. So if that sounds like your thing, come in, drop us a comment, get involved. But let's go on. So we're here every Sunday, 10 o'clock, but it's international, so it's also 6 o'clock in Singapore. So let's get on with it. Josh, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Dave.
Good.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Feeling festive. It's feeling,
Always.
good.
I say always. Yeah. I'm not always feeling festive.
You're not one of these people, so yeah, it's like Christmas Eve every day in the Nichols household, is it?
That would actually be depressing, wouldn't it? Do you think it would be really annoying? Like Christmas every day? Way. No.
Oh god, yeah. I think the problem I have with Christmas is I like to indulge in the food mainly, and a bit of drink, and then I think it's a really good idea. Like at the moment, I've got my Ocado shop being kind of built for the everything. I'm thinking of something else, and it's coming on the 18th, all right, of all the treat stuff, and then there's another one just before Christmas for all of the actual Christmas dinner. And I think it's a great idea. Oh, this is a great food, but it's really actually bad food. And it comes to like day after Boxing Day where my body goes, feed me something nice, please. And I'm like Homer when he's got his big old foot-long sub, or his hoagie, is it? And like with the Christmas leftovers, I'm like, no, please don't go, stay. But yeah, no, I'm getting festive. Football is good. We've got obviously more to come, and it's exciting times.
Nice. All I can think of when you said that was Duff Gardens, hurrah! But anyway, yeah, I know what you mean. It's like I'm very festive. I get very into Christmas. This is obviously the first year where we're having Christmas actually in Singapore. So it's like we've been here for nearly 3 years. It'll be our first Christmas here. So it's very different, but we're working around it because there's so many people that normally wouldn't be here that are now stuck here because of COVID.
Of course, yes.
So there's lots of like expat Christmases that are popping up, and obviously we're seeing friends that are what we'd call locals as well. But it's good. It's interesting.
Do you have a favourite Christmas film that you've watched over the period?
Do you know what? We talked about this at lunch today, and I ranked I came up with my top 4 Christmas films.
Okay.
Number 1.
The usual top 4. You're very football, aren't you? So you're so football.
Yeah.
So in the top 4.
Favourite top 4. Number 1, Die Hard 1.
Yeah. Tick.
Number 2,
seen it already this Christmas. Yeah.
Home Alone 1.
Tick. Seen it this Christmas.
Number 3, Die Hard 2. Number 4, Home Alone 2.
Are you kidding me?
That's my top 4. Well, Love Actually will probably get a favourable mention.
Die Hard 2's awful as a film.
Yeah, but it's a Christmas film, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't mean it's a good Christmas film. Yes, it is a Christmas film because they get stuck in the airport. But it's one. It's if you look at Die Hard and Die Hard with Vengeance, Die Hard 2 is so far beneath those as films.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'd probably put. I'm a big fan of Polar Express. Have you ever seen that?
What?
Yeah.
I can't really get on board with that film. It doesn't sit right with me. It creeps me out a little bit, if I'm honest.
The CGI-ness of it.
Yeah.
That was brought up at lunch, the CGI-ness of it. But I think Love Actually would probably be up there.
Love Actually.
What a film.
And he's got a big...
Exactly. This kicked off already. Die Hard is the best Christmas film, of course, is what the comments say. The Santa Claus is, Clause.
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen, yeah. I'll tell you what.
I'm going for
Arnie. What's Arnie's?
Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way. That's a good one.
So the correct answer, no one's actually got it yet, is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. That is the best Christmas film. That is, it's my favourite Christmas film. Love it. I'd say shout outs for Elf. Elf not getting mentioned yet.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Elf.
Are you not a fan of Will Ferrell?
No, I am a fan of Will Ferrell, but
you are a fan of Will. Okay.
Yeah, I just don't really like Elf. I don't know what it is. I've only watched it once or twice, and I've never really got on board.
For the kids, Arthur Christmas is a very good
Yeah.
kids film. I'd say also, yeah, Home Alone's pretty good. Yeah, it's just a wonderful. Oh, plane, not quite Christmas, but a holiday one. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with
Oh
John
yeah,
Candy and
that's a
Steve
great
Martin.
film. Yeah, that's a great
And
film.
in the same ilk, another John Candy, Uncle Buck. That's
Uncle
another
Buck.
best.
Yeah, yeah. Two cracking
Great.
films.
They're
But
kind of
anyway,
like watch them Boxing Day type thing.
yeah, they are boxing. Yes, I agree. Boxing Day films. That they are Boxing Day films. But Josh, it is football. Wait, it isn't
Yes.
football, but we're talking
No.
football.
Yes.
So, and we both agreed that in the news, there's not really been too much to chat about, really.
No, in
So,
the English news, there's been a lot of talk about pork pies over the last week.
okay,
Are they a substantial meal? But that links into the main news this week is obviously COVID, and we're out of lockdown,
yeah. So your
and we're
tier
into
system, tiers,
tier
yeah.
system, and pretty much everybody is tier two or tier three, and that makes a difference because that determines if you're allowed fans back into the stadium. And so tier three, no, no. Tier two, yes, yes. And for those who aren't aware, tier two is basically London downwards, London and south, as well as Liverpool. And so Liverpool and Everton allow fans back in, all the London clubs, and Brighton and Southampton, I think, is what you'd get. So everybody else, no fans allowed back in. So Spurs host Arsenal today, we allow fans back in. It's only home fans, so only Spurs fans will be in the stadium.
So
2,000.
we touched on this previously to say, do you think? Because we were like half of the season is going to be played without fans, and the other half will. So those that are away might get an advantage because they're going to the home team stadium. There's no fans, and when the return leg there could be fans. Is that? Do you think you get an advantage again? Is the 2,000 fans going to make a difference between?
I think it'll make a difference, yeah. But we've discussed throughout that there's different reactions to no fans, isn't there? Some players who might thrive in it because it's a stressful situation, yeah,
Yeah,
and some fans are toxic. I mean, I think maybe like West Ham fans, for example, might be seen as a bit toxic. You've had a kind of add pressure to the situation, and it's not the London
agreed.
Stadium has not been a great atmosphere. Whereas other fans maybe you welcome back in. Other players thrive off that kind
Old
of
Trafford.
that vibe. Yeah, Old Trafford, is that one you'd say? Yeah.
Yeah, well, Man United's best season away season ever in history.
Yes, we'll touch on that later on. You've
So
got your away form and away in the second half is where you need to be playing your games.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But
Yeah, I do think
so
it makes for a kind of disjointed season that you got not only no fans, you got some fans for some clubs. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see if any of these tier twos home forms kind of would I may have a judge about over the coming weeks. It's not only the only variable, obviously you've got different clubs that are being played against, but it might be interesting to see if there's any pronounced differences.
yeah, I mean there was obviously a negative issue that has been raised by fans going back into the stadium, and I think we sort of have to talk about it, which is the Millwall thing, where the players are taking a knee and they booed 2,000 fans were allowed in the stadium for Millwall in the Championship, and they booed the players taking a knee, which is just ridiculous.
Who would have seen that coming? It's always the ones you least expect, isn't it? Millwall fans booing. Maybe they were booing racism. Maybe that was what they were doing. They go, boo, racism's bad.
Boo earns.
Boo, I
Boo
was saying
earns.
boo earns. Yeah, it's you can just imagine the absolute gammons planning it in their sheds, probably all
Yeah.
remotely on WhatsApp. Yeah, yeah, this, you're gonna boo. Yeah, I'm gonna boo. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it's getting
boo. Yeah.
the ballot to boo. Yeah, it's just pathetic.
Absolutely
Just
pathetic.
and what the morons don't realise is that that will make if they're against taking a knee, that will make it continue more because people are like, well, it just shows the work's not done yet. So if they're just reinforcing the issue. It's
Yeah.
just one. How can you? I don't understand how people
Moronic.
still behave like
Moronic.
that. It's moronic. Yeah,
So, but
yeah.
yeah. Okay, so a lot of people are saying, going back to the actual point about stadiums being a fan in a positive light of way, I think, yeah, a lot of people are saying that it does make a difference. Chelsea fans last night seemed to make a difference to get their team back up and running after going a goal behind. We'll talk about that later. And yeah, I think it will definitely make a difference when compared to zero. But it
Yeah,
won't
and
always.
it's probably the biggest step they've got to make in terms of getting the fans back because I'd say like Spurs with a brand new stadium and how large it is, all the concourses being very large rather than all packed in. It's well equipped. It's so much. It's equipped to take more than 2,000. But this is a really key first step in getting the fans back, and
But
so
this is
hopefully it all goes swimmingly.
yeah. So what I've spoken about with some guys here is that it's not we because obviously Singapore has controlled COVID relatively well in the grand scheme of things, and we say like we don't think it's the amount of people that are actually in the stadium. It's when everyone wants to enter and exit at the same time. That's what they need to limit the numbers at, which is why you're not going to get tens of thousands of people back in the stadium at once, because you can't have that bottleneck towards an exit at
Well,
the end of the
absolutely.
game.
Anyone who's been to a live football match knows that it's typical. Well, going in is less so because everybody's coming at different times. But still, as soon as you get in there, everybody wants a drink and stuff. That's where clubs will make a bit of money from that, so they want to kind of get that aspect back. But it's leave. Everybody leaves. Typically leaves at the same time. Some people are trying to escape early if you're winning or losing, or to get that beat the rush, because it is a rush. It's just absolute crammed in, and everybody's walking around. You cannot maintain distances. But obviously, there's obviously positive news over vaccine over the last week. So hopefully the two can combine, and we can get fans back in stadiums and get this season back on track.
Yeah, I totally agree. So what other news have you got? Anything else in the news for you?
I mean, there was some European football during the week, but I think we should probably skip over that because nothing exciting happened for either of our clubs.
Okay, yeah, I would probably agree.
But yeah, we're nearing the end of it. Just quickly, your thoughts. Are you going to make the last 16? Manchester United obviously lost to PSG, faced Leipzig in their final match. Need to win, I think. Is it?
No, we can draw. Leipzig still need to
draw.
win, but it's away at Leipzig. So I think we will, and I think it'll be really scummy. I think it'll be 1-0 Leipzig until like the 88th minute, and we'll just launch everything at them, and we'll get a goal off Edison Cavani's arse or something. And it'll put
Harry Maguire to kind of nod a slab head in, I'd say.
What, head it onto his own shoulder and it go in?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we will. I think we will. It's really. We'll talk about Man United more in the West Ham game, because I think there's a lot you can cover about that. So, I think we will. I think we'll have just enough about us to get through. I think if it was the other way round and we had to win the game, then I would say would be struggling a bit more. But I'm pretty sure we've just got a draw. We can afford a draw and still go through.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're currently in position. Yeah.
But yeah, touching on the PSG game, we actually played quite well. We did play. We created a lot of chances. We probably could have won the game. Fred was just an idiot. Should have got sent off early on. But yeah,
I agree. Yeah.
I think. I mean, you guys drawing 3-3 with a team from Austria is never good. So.
I mean, I was already surprised at why without such a strong side, so many of the players who would be appearing today in the North London derby played. It's just I didn't quite understand it because. Yeah, we just need to beat Antwerp in the final match. I would have gone a lot lighter in that side, and unfortunately, it then reinforced. Joe Hart's been a good positive influence, it seems, over the club. He's dealt with things quite well. He's got a smile on his face, but he's shown that he hasn't improved as a goalkeeper. He's declining.
He can't dive left. He dives left. He can't save shots that go to his left. It's always been a problem.
It's a funny one. It's a real funny one. But yeah, and he may be well. Depends how much you believe around Mourinho's injury claims, but I'm not sure if this is a Mourinho claim. But yeah, it might be Joe Hart and goal today against Arsenal.
No,
maybe.
I don't believe that.
I'm choosing not to believe it. Otherwise, it'll make me a little bit sad.
No, yeah. Sorry, we'll get on. I was going to think about something that you brought up last week about superstitions, but we'll come back to that again for the Man United game.
You'll notice I'm not in a Spurs shirt today.
No Spurs shirt.
Because I obviously had an impact last week. I wore my Spurs shirt for a bit, and Spurs drew against Chelsea. No Spurs shirt today, so we're obviously going to win.
Draw against Chelsea is a good result this season.
Absolutely, because who knows where they may end up.
Exactly. So, let's move on. We'll move on because news isn't too much. Let's go to the quiz, Josh. Let's go for the quiz.
Ooh, la 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 la. It's quizzing time.
It is. Oh, I always get little
caught
out.
Do you know what? I feel like it's shortchanging everybody doing a short one. I feel like it's just.
I don't mind the short one. I just get caught out because I start the dance, I start the head bob, and then it's just like quizzing time, and I'm like, I've fallen for it again. So,
all right, Dave. This is goalless players. So in order, I've sorted this by minutes.
Right.
And so number one player there has gone the most minutes without scoring a Premier League goal. He currently plays for Crystal Palace. He is a right back. He is English. Who is it? And these are the top 10 players we get to score. Nathaniel Klein. Incorrect.
Oh, what? So he's got who's an English right back? Oh, is it Martin Kelly?
Martin Kelly.
Bloody hell.
Tonight, Martin Kelly, I will be goalless.
Aston Villa, left back, Wales. Who is their left back? I want to say it's something Taylor. I just can't remember his first name.
Oh,
Neil Taylor?
gets it in two. Neil Taylor.
West Ham left back.
Dr. Congo.
Dr. Congo. Democratic Republic of Congo. Masuaka is the only one I can think of. Yeah.
Masuaku. No points. Unlucky. Mispronunciation.
What's his name?
Yeah, Arthur Masuaku.
Masuaku. It definitely ends in an A.
No, it's a U.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's.
I feel like that's one of those instances where you go, oh, I can pronounce this now, I've got it, and you don't even look how it ends. You go, yeah, I've got all the letters there. Tick, and then you go to pronounce it. You go, no, it's wrong actually.
Oh, okay, there you go. Wolves centre back England. Connor Cody.
More goals for England than he does in the Premier League for Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Incredible. Burnley left back England. Oh god, I'm so bad at Burnley's teams. They always catch me out.
It's because they're completely and utterly forgettable.
Yeah. Ben
Generic
Mee.
English player. Ben Mee, no, not Ben Mee.
He's a centre back, not a. Who is their left back? Who on earth is Burnley's left back?
I'm not even sure it'll be first choice. I imagine Eric Peters will be first choice.
Yeah. I'm going to have to pass. Literally, I cannot think of anyone other than Ben Mee and James Tarkowski, and they're both centre backs.
It is Charlie Taylor.
Charlie Taylor. Okay. Yeah. Easily forgettable. No offence, Charlie, if you're listening. Liverpool. Centre back England, Joe Gomez.
Joseph Gomez.
Everton. Centre back England, Keane. Michael Keane.
Incorrect.
Holgate.
Correct. Three English centre backs: Keane, Holgate, and Godfrey. I presume Godfrey's English.
Yeah, Ben Godfrey. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Look at them hoarding English, the average English centre backs.
Yeah. Chelsea centre back Denmark is Andreas Christensen.
Yes.
Leicester City defence midfielder France is in Wilfred Ndidi.
He is Nigerian.
Oh. Who is a French holding midfielder? I should definitely know this.
He's not had a great time. He's starting to come to the forefront a bit more for Leicester, but he's not had a great season. I mean, he's in Ndidi's absence, I think, is where he's been prominent.
Numpause Mendy, is that how you say his name?
Yes.
Yeah. An Arsenal defence midfielder, Egypt, the one and only El Neni, who has come to form under Arteta, it seems.
I'm going to put it out there. It's not a sensible bet, but chuck money on El Neni to score against Spurs today. I've pulled this up as a Spurs fan. Going, he's 10th most minutes without scoring. He's obviously going to score today because Arsenal can't score. He hasn't scored. It's going to be a goal. I'm going to put money on it. I'll tweet it out a bit.
Oh, you actually? El Neni to score any time?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Never. It's not going to happen. It is
well,
not.
That's what I hope. Happen. But that's the football manager way, isn't it? Like
it is.
Yeah, you lose 1-0. First goal of the season. Like,
yeah.
Well done, Dave. 90%. Only Charlie Taylor eluded you, and I mean, we've already forgotten who Charlie Taylor is, so let's not worry about that.
Exactly. I'm very happy with that. I think I've done well.
Yeah.
I don't
know. Did I give you too many clues? I didn't want it to be dead air.
I think the nationality made it a lot easier.
Yeah,
but then I think without that, it's too broad.
Yeah, then you've just been literally naming. Maybe if I take a position out, might have had something because Arsenal, Egypt. Yeah. But then you can be trawling through. But yeah, well done, Dave. 90%.
Yeah, happy.
Anyone taking my own
He scored a few years ago, so he's due another goal. Says an Arsenal fan in the chat.
No, please no.
And we've got saying up there mind games from Jose for sure about Joe Hart in goal. I think it is. I think it's mind games.
I'm loving a bit of mind games. I find it quite. It's a bit of drama, isn't it? It's a bit like adding a bit of wrestling to the. It does add a little bit of it's a bit of like a plot twist. It's just I like it.
Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Right, let's carry on this football chat, and we'll talk about this week's fixtures.
Yeah, we will do because someone's just doesn't like mind games, but their manager is the most famed mind gamer in their former manager's most famed mind gamer in Premier League
No,
history.
obviously, I think mind games when your manager's doing them is great fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's great fun. It's all
All
shithousery,
right,
isn't it? So
let's talk the Habib Bay derby, and it was postponed because
yes,
Newcastle have got an outbreak of COVID in their training ground, and they are riddled with it. So
riddled.
riddled. We'll move on to the Paul Gascoigne derby,
Burnley Everton. I mean,
Burnley Everton. Oh dear, 5 points from the last 7 games for Everton.
yeah, but
But what?
when you went, 5 points from his last 7 games. What have Burnley got in their last 7 games? One,
No, they beat Crystal Palace, so they're probably at like
four.
four or
Yeah,
five.
probably four. I still think Everton will turn a corner and come good at some point again this season. I think they'll challenge for Europa League spot, but I just can't get over how bad Burnley are. They're just
They're
awful.
more like themselves over the last 4 games. And I mean, it does include the textbook 5-0 loss to Man City, but they are more like themselves. They're just getting there a little bit. I'm not sure they'll ever. I'm not. They may never get there, but they are definitely looking a bit more like themselves. Picking up, winning against Palace, draw here, 5-0 loss. I can't remember what the other game is, but yeah, it's not as bleak as it was the first 5 games of the season, I think.
I just think they're going. I might put a bet on for the second half of the season, say Burnley to get relegated. I won't get very good odds, but I think I just can't see them improving as much as they need to stay up. They're a team that needs a solid start to the season to then absorb this rubbish bit of form, and it's not. It's just not happened.
Potentially, but I do think they're also the side that can just grind out results. So they can go, we can revert back to Burnley of old, and and pick up a few. I don't think they're going to miraculously just storm up the table, but I think they got it within them to kind of keep their head above water.
But the thing that concerns me about Burnley is that I can imagine, I don't know their XG for this game, but from the highlights I've seen, they had one really good opportunity. Their goal probably wasn't a shot you'd expect to go in from outside the box from Brady. Um, they had
Yeah,
the
you're right. You're right. Yeah. So Chris Wood obviously had that great chance being put through.
well saved. You've got to give
Yeah, the
Pickford
goal
credit.
scored. He's got 0.02 xg. So
Yeah. So I think, and that's their problem. I think that's the problem with
yeah,
Burnley.
in this match, I mean, Everton did more than enough to win this match. I mean, we obviously have the Calvert-Lewin scoring again, 11 goals this season.
Yeah.
He's
Nick Pope's fault. I'm blaming Nick Pope for that one in goal.
really? Which
Yeah,
did it come out?
the cross wasn't quick, and he literally just stood there and watched it go across his body.
I suppose it kind of made. I mean, it's one of the other because he obviously made that amazing save to Calvert-Lewin in the opening kind of 10, 15 minutes
Yeah.
where I think it's unexpected he'd save that. So you take them together, you go, yeah, it's
Yeah.
Calvert-Lewin scoring one of those.
Yeah.
Sigurdsson, I mean, for me, I've spoken about this before, is that Everton have built themselves, they've improved on their squad on last year, but they've got themselves a much better first 11, but obviously the players are still, the second-rate players are still second-rate. Sigurdsson, Delph, Cenk Tosun being brought on to try and change the game. It's like, no, 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 no.
No.
Sigurdsson obviously having a chance there with Hammers putting him through, he's poking it on goal. He's had a bit of a tail off, hasn't he, Sigurdsson? I don't know whether it's just sometimes the moves haven't been right for him. So he obviously did well at Swansea,
Yeah.
and then came to Spurs and didn't really put up any trees. Did he then go back to what was his next move after
Did he go to
Spurs?
Swansea or Fulham? Swansea. I think he went back to Swansea.
Back to Swansea, was it?
I think so. Yeah. And then Everton.
Yeah, and yeah, the Everton Spurs moves haven't really worked out great for him.
It's very similar
I thought.
to Lewis Holtby, who you signed as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
quite similar in
yeah,
that the Spurs move was a bit too big for them, maybe, and
yeah. It's been a way for a number of players to sign for Spurs. I never think of Spurs as that big a club, but there's some players who just struggled to kind of typically strikers you've seen, or attacking players. You've seen the David Bentleys, and
yeah,
you got your long list of strikers who failed. Soldados, but yeah, it's not for everyone, and obviously there's other things at play. I'm not saying it's just the Spurs being a club, but yeah, it's when a player's bought and they don't get quite played in their position, which we'll touch on in the. I've got a good point to make in the West Ham United match, but I don't know. I think I don't see Everton. I think Everton with their fullbacks out, Iwobi for
Oh,
an attacking player being pushed into defence. It's amazing that the bit that is weak in his game is his crossing and his attacking output. It's just it is so perverse. But yeah, it'll be a massive. Like, I mean, they need Coleman back and Dini back, but that's
yeah.
both of them back in the side's not going to be for a while. So I think that's why they just won't quite get there. But who
Okay.
knows? Richarlison, James, and Calvert-Lewin's obviously a great front three for them, and they probably can do more damage than harm.
Yeah, very true. So we've got a question in. Is it already a four-way fight for survival? Fulham, West Brom, Burnley, and Sheffield United. Is it three of those four that go down, or do you think someone
I
else could
think
get?
I think I would be surprised if yeah, if three we are there isn't at least two of those sides that get relegated. But I'd say yeah, three of those four I could see again. I think Burnley just have it now, so I'd say you're looking at West Brom, Fulham, Sheffield United.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Moving on.
The Dixon Atuhu derby. We've got Man City v Fulham, and just a straight up ordinary 2-0 win. Not
Yeah.
ordinary, because I think ordinary for City would have been 5-0.
Yeah,
And, you
probably
know,
would have been. Yeah.
City's gone by. You'd expect them to blow past sides a bit more than this.
Yeah. Very true.
Um, Pep's been calling out for using five subs, hasn't he? He's been like, we
He
need five
has
subs. How many did he use in this match, Dave?
one,
Zero.
zero. Oh my god.
Didn't use one sub. What are you chatting about then, Pep?
That's
Huh?
ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, why aren't you using any subs?
Bald fraud, isn't he? But
Do you know what impresses me about Kevin De Bruyne? I don't ever expect him to be as quick as he is.
yeah, I know. I know exactly
He
what you
always
mean.
like he'll start driving forward ball and he's pulling away from players. His running power from midfield, he's always pulling away from players behind him, and that obviously that's great for him because it gives him a chance to play a pass without being under pressure from someone right behind him.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's got his strength and his acceleration. No, not quite his acceleration. It's kind of a slow progress. He just kind of that slow acceleration, that powerful running. Just it always surprises me.
It's a bit like sort of Yaya Toure-esque because it's power,
Yeah,
not pace,
yeah.
and it's incredible. I thought De Bruyne was obviously fantastic. Like yesterday, he dictated the play. The ball in for Sterling for his goal, where he just slips it just out the reach of the defender, right into Sterling's path, was
Yeah,
beautiful.
lovely.
And Man City finally scored a penalty. Like even though everyone in world football, I think, wanted them to keep missing until Ederson was given a chance. De Bruyne
Please,
did
yeah.
stick it away, and it was okay. It's not the 3-0, 4-0, 5-0 you'd probably expect of Man City's pass, but it was very routine for them.
Yeah, it would be a sensible bet to put on Man City to winning at half time and to be winning at full time, wouldn't it? That'd be a sensible bet.
That would be a very sensible bet, and one of us did that.
One
And
of us did that.
well done, Josh. Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
So
Raheem Sterling,
yeah,
bit of a dive there, bit of a dive for a penalty.
yes. I mean,
I think
it's
yeah, I'd say
exaggerated contact.
yeah, and we've seen in the we'll touch on it later in the Leeds game, but unfortunately, and throughout football, if you don't go down, you rarely get. If you get challenged and you stumble on through, referees go, no, there's nothing wrong there. It's like that shouldn't be the case. He's
No, I
impeded him.
agree.
He's halted him, and another player defender's had to cover, or your shot's been got away, or your pass been got away, but it's not as clean. It's a weird rule.
I agree.
That's why players dive because they know they don't get it otherwise. And so I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying what is wrong is the fact that referees don't seem to give penalties, as we saw in the Chelsea Leeds game, for when a challenge is made and the player doesn't go down.
Yeah, but that's where VAR's incorrect because VAR should bring it back to say that should be a penalty because he didn't score or didn't get the shot off at the end of that run or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem to work like that. So yeah, very interesting. I wouldn't exaggerated contact. It's very much like most of Jack Grealish's free kicks and fouls that he wins against him. Is that it's not a dive; it's exaggerated the contact that
Well,
he's got.
absolutely. If these players were, I mean, it must be exaggerating because if they were as hurt as they are, they'd be in crutches coming off the pitch because there's a lot of throwing
Yeah,
themselves to the floor. And was it Jack Grealish was West Ham last week, was it?
yeah,
And he got swiped across the back, and there was contact with the back of his leg, so he did get kicked, but he really goes. He can see his brain ticking, going, "Hold on, I've been kicked here."
been touched here.
Bam on the
There
floor.
we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cool. I mean, yeah, easy for Man City. So
Fulham did well, obviously during the week. beating Leicester to much to my surprise.
Yep.
Just held on. That was really nice to see. Adamola Lookman is their shining light. I've always liked him. I thought he was very tricky and very kind of intelligent, kind of winger, a lot of skill. Everton obviously went over to, was it Leipzig he went to?
Yeah, he went to Leipzig. Yeah, from Everton.
Yeah, and now back in the Premier League again. I like him. I think I feel he may always find himself around those kind of lower end clubs, the kind of the junior Hoylett role where he might flip between champ. He'll be too good for the championship. He'll be good in a struggling side in a Premier League side, but I'm not sure he'll ever get his what he probably wants is to be playing for a settled Premier League side. I'm not sure.
Ryan Brewster-esque.
Yeah,
After
you
we
reckon
talked
that's
about
going
him
to be
last
his?
week.
Yeah, Tammy Abraham link. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right then. Next up.
Next up, Carlos Tevez derby.
Oh, there's quite a few to go through that you could
It
have
was.
picked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a well-trodden path. You're
Yeah.
right.
So, um, well, first half was rubbish. Sometimes maybe good. Sometimes maybe to quote Gattuso.
Is is Bruno Fernandes your most important player?
Yeah, he's probably the best midfielder in the world right now.
What? Ooh, is he? I'd like to introduce you to a player called. Well, it's two options. You can take your pick out of Spurs' side: Tanguy Ndombele
No,
or Pierre-Emile Højbjerg.
no,
So,
neither. I'll take Bruno. Thanks. Done. Closed.
so
Closed
yeah,
book.
obviously
Shut the book. Shut the
first
book. Throw
half
it in the
West
fire.
Ham.
So,
First half West Ham played pretty well, I thought. Did create chances and obviously
could have been
grabbed a goal. And
could have been
then at
two,
the
three
half
nil.
time,
Could have been
yeah,
2 or 3 nil.
half time they bring on Bruno and it all changed, didn't it?
Game changer, absolute game changer, Bruno, and he shows how valuable he is to this United team. He shows that if he's not on the pitch, nothing ticks. He shows probably why he should be captain, to be honest. Like, comes on and gets everyone fired up. Very surprising to see him not playing from the start. And I assume that's with the game against PSG just gone and Leipzig coming up. I don't know if we play them next week. No, it's 2 weeks' time, I think. But yeah, it just changed the game. He's just phenomenal going forward in the terms of that he will just take the risks that we don't have anyone else to take. And yes, he gives the ball away a lot, and he does exaggerate contact, if that's what we're going to call it after the conversation we've just had with tackles and things like that. But he just makes such a difference on the ball. He makes such a difference to the team. It's such a different outlet, and it's sort of, I guess, how Liverpool fans probably felt last season with that thing of, oh God, please don't get injured, with Virgil van Dijk for them last year, or maybe Mo Salah and someone like that, and Mane. United fans, if Bruno Fernandes, I don't know, ankle ligament damage or something, and is out for 6 weeks or something like that, it's going to be horrible. It's going to be absolutely
Yeah,
horrible.
yeah, and that's a problem because it was someone so vital to a side, and
Yeah.
yeah, he's that one key player. Yeah, it is horrible to. I mean, it's the way I feel whenever Harry Kane steps on the pitch. To be honest with you. You've been so poor in the first half games. You've only been winning once at half time, and
I don't. That sort of thing, I think, has to lay with the manager, because that is, in my eyes, is a sort of motivation thing. But then whatever is happening at half time, he's doing something right at half time to then turn it around and fire people up and make
bringing
the
on
right
Bruno.
subs and bringing on Bruno. But yeah, it's
It doesn't seem like long ago since United was sitting 14th in the table.
I know. Yeah, cheers.
But it's one of those things. I've only kind of really realised in recent years is that the Premier League table is like a slinky, and so there'll be you're in your form, and United are in good form at the moment.
Yeah,
So they're in form at the moment, and so they're rising up the table, what, fourth or fifth or something like that, a
yeah,
couple of points off top because they've won what the last four. I want to say last four. You won the last five home games. Probably lost at home to Arsenal, I think, in that time.
yeah,
And so you've gone up, but then then your form will dip and you'll drop down again. It'll ebb and flow for a little while, and so you can presses and releases and yeah, it's your time at the moment. You're doing well, so you're up there. But this run of form is either it will last and you'll be title challengers, or it won't last and you'll go back to kind of flitting around. But this is going to also it's still points on the board. You don't lose these points, but
yeah. I think
yeah.
I think you're right, and I think there is a potential that this could last. This form could last, and we could grind out results and hit form in every second half and get the win. But it's not what title campaigners do. They don't
In a
turn
normal
off.
year, that's right. Or even the years we've kind of become accustomed to of Liverpool and Man City running away with it. At the moment, maybe we're settling in a bit. Man City have settled into a rhythm now. I'm not sure Liverpool's injuries will really disturb their rhythm. Whether Spurs have settled into a rhythm, but I can't see it being a runaway leader this year at the moment. I just
No,
can't
I
see
don't
it.
think so. No, I
Yeah.
don't think so. I think it'll be quite close. But I think, there was the second half was brilliant to see. Yeah, Pogba remembered how to be a footballer.
Lovely goal, lovely.
Uh, uh,
It was just an absolute lesson in finishing those goals.
it's the one. It's that sort of goal I imagine in training he's scoring all the time,
Oh yeah,
all the
yeah.
time.
That's how I imagine. I've been so disappointed with Pogba in the Premier League. I remember watching, and maybe it's the highlight reels, the YouTube highlight reels, but he seemed like when I watched Tanya and Dombele, he seemed like that he was doing that more. And Dombele runs at players, dribbles through players, bosses it strength wise, putting
Yeah,
balls through. Doesn't score the goal. I think Pogba's got a better strike on him, but Pogba doesn't seem to impose himself anywhere near as much as I thought. He seemed to like he was. It seemed like he was like a bigger boy playing with kids when I watch highlight reels of him. But it seems like he's just
it's strange.
he's assured, yeah. But it's been so disappointing for me.
The season we won the Europa League under Mourinho was his best season at United, and his goal and assist output was probably the highest it's been from a Man United midfielder before we signed Bruno. And since, I don't know, maybe someone like Beckham or Giggs or someone or Scholes, a really high name player. But you're right, he's always been a disappointment, which is harsh to say because I don't think he was bought in, and he's the sort. If this was Football Manager, you buy him in and you build a team around him, and you be like, right, what you do whatever you can to get the best out of him. And I don't think. I think every manager we've had has tried to do that, but what makes it difficult is we've had such different styles of managers that.
Yeah. I also think what makes it difficult is that I'm really not sure whether Pogba's heart's been in it all the time.
No, I think as soon as Real Madrid flitted an interest 3 years ago, he was keen to
Yeah.
go. As soon as Juventus said they might want to sign him back, he was probably keen to go. I think he played so well at Juventus. He had a very settled team. He had a very settled midfield. He had a very settled manager, and I think he needs that to play
And I
well.
don't think he's going to get that because I can't see the manager outstaying. Well, maybe I'll be surprised if the manager outstays Pogba.
I think Ole will be there. I think Ole will keep his job this year and going into next
Okay.
season. I do now. I think there's
Okay.
enough shoots of evidence to suggest it's good. I don't think Woodward would want to pay off another manager and pay to get another one in, but anything could change. Anything could change. Yeah, I know. I think Pogba will probably leave in the summer, and I still think that Van der Beek was brought in to prepare for that eventuality.
And so I mentioned earlier around players being brought to fit a system. We have Sebastian Aller up
Oh,
top for
what a
West
miss!
Ham.
What a miss!
Not even a miss. It doesn't even register as an XG because he doesn't
Did it
have a
not?
shot. No,
That's true. Yeah, that's true. So,
it's not even a shot. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, he's through on goal, takes it round De Gea, and then I think maybe because he tries to touch the ball, misses it, and he just misses the ground, or he slips, and he just slips with the ball at his feet, ready to roll it past the defender on the line. And he's been bought, and he played in the front three at Frankfurt with Rebic and Jovic, and he now is being asked to play a lone front man, all action, aka Mikel Antonio's role, and it's just not going to work for him. At 45 million,
he,
bit of a flop really in hindsight. He's scored some nice goals, but he has the problem, which is, and his perception is he has the Ozil, he has the kind of maybe Christian Eriksen kind of body language about him,
I mean, I was
which
gonna say he just seems to be lacking the work rate to do that lone striker role. It's like you'd probably never play Berbatov up front on his own. Like you would have played him one up front, but with a very very high attacking midfielder behind him. And West Ham, yeah, you're right. West Ham don't fit that system for Sebastian
I
Haller
would say
or the
with
other way
times
around.
that Berbatov played up top alone, I have a vivid memory of him playing up top alone because we went down to 10 men. I want to say against someone like Wigan, and he was just phenomenal that day but that's a Berbatov who's high in confidence. When you're high in confidence, you
Yeah,
can pretty much do anything. To be asked to do that in a struggling West Ham side, although they've won the last three by a goal, but he's not been on form in that side. He scored against Sheffield United, I think, with a lovely
and,
finish, but.
and you can always tell something's up when a striker scores and doesn't celebrate. Like,
Yeah,
cause,
that's what I don't think is going to help anyone. Like,
yeah,
are you wanting to achieve? Are you wanting to prove doubters wrong, or are you just like, there's a goal, whatever? Just I'm eking out my contract. I'm eking out till January, till the summer. Just sell me, just get me out of this
So if you
hole. Yeah.
were if you were West Ham and let's say someone you managed to sell Allaire for 20 million, let's say 20 million, someone in Europe buys it.
That's a loss.
Yeah, but let's say, he's not in training, he's got the same attitude and it's not really working. As the manager, you're like, look, I'd rather we sell him for 20 million and go out and buy Mr. X. Who the hell is Mr. X that can come in for Antonio or play up front who gives you the same as Mikel Antonio? Who is that
Yeah.
player that fits that system for West Ham?
Honestly, I'd be looking for something in the same ilk um, as Antonio. Someone, someone because
Yeah, but
when Antonio's out,
who's out there that's like that?
no, I'm thinking I wouldn't be against looking at kind of not lower leagues, but I'd be looking lower down the table. Who's going to prove themselves? But I don't think it was a right. I'm not sure if it was a managerial or owner's buy, but Haller was kind of came up and it's not a cog that fit in that system. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously there's been changes and Moyes kind of stumbled across a this formation and Antonio up front. He didn't set out to be Antonio leading the line, but yeah, I don't know who it would be, but at the moment there's a distinct difference between Antonio and Haller up front for West Ham, and
yeah,
it's quite pronounced. Yeah.
definitely. Shout out to Greenwood. What a touch and finish, just while we're quickly talking about the game. Lovely first touch, left-footed volley past Fabianski. Wonderful.
Yep.
That boy is going to be class. And Juan Mata, what a pass for Rashford's goal. Like, again, I still think we should cash in on Juan Mata, but what a pass for Rashford's
I'm
goal.
not sure there's much cashing in to do. You might as well eke it out, and he must be out of contract in the summer.
He
Isn't
is,
he?
yeah. We can
Yeah.
give. Well, I think we give him a 1 year extension. We may have activated the 1 year extension. I'm
Okay.
not sure, but he could still be out in the summer. So, yeah, final game.
Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank derby,
What a
Chelsea v
player!
Leeds.
What a man!
Fans back in the stadium, and there's some exciting in this. There's some excitement in this match. There's a lot to talk about here actually. So we obviously this is a title of the podcast. Are Chelsea going to win a title? And my question to you is, what can derail Chelsea?
An injury to Thiago Silva, maybe.
Do you know, I've got two things here. I've got an injury to Mendy or an injury to Thiago Silva.
Yeah,
And it's strange but it's not strange. We've spoken about it in terms of Aston Villa, in terms of Everton. And it's been quite pronounced actually. New signings have actually made an impact this season, haven't they?
they have, and it's very rare
So
because you're.
Spurs have obviously, Højbjerg's made a difference for it was coming straight in. Reguilon's made a big difference. You have Villa, Ross Barkley's made a difference.
Yeah.
Martinez, you got James, you got Chelsea, you've got Mendy, Silva, Werner, all making a difference. It's quite unique in that sense. Normally, it's sort of not many hit the ground running, but I'd say I agree. And obviously in this match, though, Mendy, I'd say made a mistake.
Did you just agree with yourself? You railed
Yeah.
off a sentence and then went, "Yeah, I agree."
Yeah, with you in terms of
Yeah,
in terms of
yeah.
Mendy being injured.
Yeah. I think
But
it's really the other thing that could derail Chelsea is Lampard's lack of managerial experience. Let's call it. I was going to call it nous, but it's probably experience because you don't know how much nous he's got and what he's picked up through his career. But
what's his nous level at? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it could be his lack of experience in this sort of position come the last couple of months of the season, like 2-3 months of the season, and
Do you know what? It just got me dreaming there. It got me dreaming of Spurs, Chelsea challenging for title, and Mourinho just absolutely schooling Lampard in some mind games, and Lampard doing a Kevin Keegan-esque. Love it. If we.
that would be good. That would be good. But yeah, I think you're right because normally you're quite a preacher of the whole. New transfers need 4 to 5
Absolutely.
months,
Need that
half a
time to
season,
settle in.
whole season. Next, it's the second season you see the best of it. But this year has been it's been different with that, and I think Mendy is obviously made a difference to Kepa being in goal and has made a difference. I don't get. It's not just Mendy because a lot of goalkeepers do this. When Bamford was through on goal, have you seen the goals? You seen the goals in Chelsea's
Yeah,
game?
he does Edison, doesn't he? He's making the striker have it. He's just making him make a decision. He's going, all right. He's given Bamford a better option.
Yeah, he's run out. Mendy has gone for the tackle outside of his box, which means he has to use his feet, which means it's really easy for Bamford to go around him. Just hold back a yard. Don't run as quick. I know that sounds like a stupid thing to say, but
No, it's all about timing. He's timed completely wrong. He's come sliding out, and it is a mistake. And obviously Bamford scores, and so be it. But it obviously didn't affect the outcome.
No.
Have you seen Timo Werner's fantastic goal line clearance? I
What
mean,
a block, and then he put it against the bar just for good measure after.
yeah, you see, if you rewatch it, watch Giroud's like kind of disdain and kind of shock that it hasn't gone in. You haven't seen it. Werner actually, I think it's touch and go where it's going in, but he takes the ball away from goal and then tries to flick it back and hits the bar. It's
It,
shades of Choupo-Moting. There's a PSG match against
yeah,
Strasbourg, and the player dinks it over the goalkeeper, going through to, and Choupo-Moting's trying to get out of the way of it. Actually, just touches it and stops it on the line. It's like, oh my goodness, it's and so. Timo Werner had a very good match.
he did. He
He
did.
didn't score, but I just this game summed up the reason why I'll never rate him and why I don't think he'll ever reach the heights that he should do because he's not clinical. He's nowhere near clinical enough to be the elite striker. He'll be just that rung beneath because he creates so many chances for himself. His movement's fantastic. His pace and power is just unbelievable, and he lays it on the plate for Pulisic at the end. But I don't know whether he'll be frustrating, but you just think, oh, if only you were clinical. He's just not. He won't. He may eventually develop that,
Interesting.
like Salah didn't develop that till a bit later on. But that's why I don't rate him as highly as others.
Okay, I really rate him. I really rate Timo Werner. I think his work rate's great. He looks effortless when he runs with the ball and beats people, and just shove him on the line from a corner and keep it off the line for you as well. Either
Absolutely, yeah.
end. I think, yeah. In a team like Chelsea at the moment, he doesn't need to score goals. That sounds stupid, but
Well, that's the thing. That's what's going to derail them. Like
yeah,
Werner doesn't. Yeah, there's so many options. Like we spoke about Bruno being key to Man United, and like is it can only be like there's so much depth and so much rotation in that front section for
yeah,
for Chelsea. Like we've talked about like the other week around and from crosses. Zuma's getting like 4 goals this
yep,
season now
yeah.
from Mason Mount, great at crossing. Ziyech, great at crossing. Chilwell is whipped in some crosses. I'm sure I'm forgetting someone, but even Werner's like laying on a plate. There's variety there. I mean, have got some standout players, but even like Kante goes out injured, he'll lose a little bit, but they've got players to step in. I just think they're quite well rounded and they've got a good threat this season.
Yeah.
It's
Do
going to
you,
be tasty.
can they do it?
Yeah, I'd say they can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think they are now? You can seriously consider Chelsea under Lampard to
I
be
think so. Oh, you need. I mean, the amount of money they spent. It shouldn't be a surprise.
no
I
true,
suppose the
true.
surprising bit is Lampard at the helm.
Yeah. Okay.
But the surprise there is just the fact that he was trusted, full stop, as manager.
Yeah.
It's not a surprise that it's do managers make the biggest of difference? I don't know. The way you see, experienced managers come in, young managers come in, managerial changes. It's just sometimes good players just play, and I don't know how much you. I think Lampard probably get a lot of praise for winning the title.
Yeah. Well,
Probably
definitely. I think he
so, but
definitely
you
would.
never know how much is it. But Giroud, Giroud obviously got 4 goals during the week
Yep.
and gets another here. He is now level with Dennis Bergkamp for Premier League goals
Oh.
back there. But I will mention that obviously, and obviously he's going for Thierry Henry's French record, but Bergkamp did get 94 assists.
Oh.
Bergkamp got more assists than goals in the Premier League.
Bloody hell. Bergkamp was
Yeah.
class. Bergkamp was absolutely class. Giroud,
How do you reckon Giroud will be remembered?
as a very sexy target man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he world class? He's going for French
He.
record goal scorer. He's going to have won titles. Is he going to win titles?
No, I don't think he'll ever be world class. I think he'll be remembered a bit like, and I'm not saying they're the same sort of level, but Chicharito was always a good goal scorer. He would always get you goals, but he was never world class. He was never the best of the best. And I think that's sort of what Giroud
And
is.
rarely ever favoured and used as that,
First choice.
trusted being the first choice
Yeah.
number 9. Yeah.
So
Okay.
I think that's what Giroud remembered too. I mean, we've had a comment in the chat to say, Giroud could be for West Ham. Work rate, target man.
Honestly, yeah, yeah. When you mention it, obviously Chicharito followed that path, went to
Yeah.
West Ham. I would say, yeah, that would work well.
I think Giroud will displace Abraham now though. So consistently
For a
in the
little,
Chelsea
for a
team.
little while, yeah, for a
Yeah.
little while, I think it would
No.
be. You're only heading into December where there's a lot of rotation needed.
Yeah, a good comment in there as well. Giroud is like the closer, Miroslav Klose of the Premier League. Not world class, but just gets goals, just scores goals. So yeah,
Yeah, especially
good stuff.
international level. Yeah.
So quick reviews then. Quick reviews of the fixtures coming up that we've got. Obviously big ones today. West Brom, Crystal Palace.
Ooh, Zaha's back. Crystal Palace to win.
Agreed. Sheffield United, Leicester.
I've just got a feeling that Sheffield United are going to grab something from this match. Leicester have been a bit of a. They obviously lost to Fulham, lost midweek in the Europa League. I don't think. I think they're going to grab a point. I think
You
share the
talking
spoils.
score draw or ball draw?
Score draw. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we already know that it's going to be Spurs something Arsenal 1 with an El Neni wonder goal. So what's the
Yep.
Spurs Arsenal score?
2-1 Spurs.
With El Neni scoring a wonder goal.
Yeah, with El
Do
Neni
Arsenal
scoring a
score
wonder goal.
first? Sorry, does El Neni score first?
El Neni equalises.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it'll be a Son goal. El Neni equalises. Harry Kane of a death penalty.
Oh, okay. And the Diego Jota reunion, Liverpool
Yeah, I
Wolves.
feel like he may be the difference maker here as well. I've gone 1-0 Liverpool.
Okay.
On that, you see Raul Jimenez and David Luiz clash
Yeah.
early in the week.
Fractured skull.
Fractured skull, and I can't help but think that I know doctors at times said he was fine, but David Luiz really shouldn't be continuing that match for me if a
No.
player's gone off with a head injury. There's just no need for it. I hope to see him back on the pitch. I'm a big fan of Raul Jimenez, but I think it's going to be a long road back for him.
It's
It's
I think it's could that highly likely a career-ending injury. I know Petr Cech obviously fractured his skull and played on, but I think being a goalkeeper, you're not meant to use your head, whereas a
you don't
striker,
change many areas. No, there's been many instances where players haven't come back from it. But yeah, hopefully he does. He's a fantastic player. I mean, fantastic addition to Premier League, and Wolves obviously sorely missed him. We saw the young Portuguese lad come
Fabio
on.
Silva. Yeah.
Fabio Silva.
So,
Yeah, and yeah, that may be even a little toothless up front because he scored a lot of
yeah.
their goals. I mean, they performed well against Arsenal in those circumstances and did really well. But yeah, it's going to be a tough season for Wolves without Jimenez.
Yeah. So before we go on to the Wikifiles then, betting, you'll see on the screen now that obviously my betting is totally blank because, well, yeah, it wasn't sensible to bet whilst drunk, so I didn't do it. And Josh, you went for...
So I put a bet on half-time, full-time, Man City to be winning both at half-time, full-time against Fulham. That won. And I also put a bet on the penalty in the Manchester United West Ham match. That did not happen. But there wasn't actually that many penalties overall. There was only one penalty in the Man City match. I
Yeah.
mean, they dried up a little bit.
They did. They very much did. So everyone keeps on forgetting Fabio Silva's name. Yeah, that's from my stream. I literally couldn't remember who it was. But anyway, let's move on to I got a wiki file for you. Hey, so I'll do a short little intro as well. Josh, I mean, it's going to be quick to describe. It could be a long thought
Yeah,
process.
no one's going to be struggling to follow this on the audio. So not even a youth career to give me. 2004 to 2007, we appeared for Middlesbrough 66 times, scoring 3 goals. We then make the glamorous move to Middlesbrough in 07 for 12 years to West Bromwich Albion, 309 appearances, 34 goals.
I
So
can give you. I'm sorry about this. I'd cut off youth career, so I can give it to you.
Yeah.
1998 to 2004, Middlesbrough.
Okay, so 375 appearances, 37 goals across Middlesbrough and West Brom for 15 years in the Premier League. Is that all Premier League, Dave?
It's not. He was in the Championship for both teams for a while.
Okay, I have just.
Oh, tell a lie.
the
Sorry,
main
no,
top-
tell a lie. Middlesbrough all Premier League. West Brom 3 seasons in the Championship.
And I've got a name that's popped into my head, so I'm just going to say it because it's what I think it might be. Is it James Morrison?
It is James Morrison. Oh my word, he's pulled that out of the bag. Unbelievable.
Oh my goodness. I don't quite know how I got it. I think I was thinking of English players who Middlesbrough have actually managed to sell to other Premier League clubs because there's not many. And yeah,
Well,
and
he's Scottish,
English
so good
youth
start.
players. Yeah, but that's where my first train of thought came from. Yeah, and I mean, I was like, okay, who have we got there? And Yeah, and then goal scoring midfielders. He always popped up with a bit of a goal. He had a decent output.
Yeah,
Um,
not bad.
and so yeah, James
Do you
Morrison,
want his
Scottish.
do you just want his international stats for a laugh?
I'm going to go for something like 27 appearances, 3 goals.
Oh, 3 goals is correct. 46 appearances for Scotland.
Oh, well, he's been much more I suppose Premier League player. He's going to get a bit more prominent in the Scottish side.
And
Okay.
before those international appearances for Scotland, he represented the under 17, under 18, under 19, and under 20 teams of England. So
Did
yeah,
he? Then he soon realised when the N21 call-up wasn't happening that he needed to change to Scotland.
yes, and he has no personal section on Wikipedia. So if someone could change that and just make something up, put it in his personal file, and we'll read it out next
Something
month.
nice, something wholesome.
Something wholesome.
He
Yeah.
loves adopting cats.
Like
Yeah.
he donates to a cat charity every week for
Yes.
10% of his salary. That'll do.
Yeah. Every goal he scores, he donates his weekly wage to saving cats.
Yeah. Do you know what he's up to right now?
No. Have you got a live feed into his house? What's happening?
He's listening in.
Hello, James.
West Bromwich Albion under 23s assistant manager. So
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
not bad for Mr. Morrison. Yeah, not bad for Mr.
Yeah, we're
Morrison.
seeing. I actually quite like the singer James Morrison as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, that was going to be a clue I gave you if you didn't get it. I was going to say he's got a.
Oh yeah, it's got, yeah, his first album was immense. Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
World.
So,
song.
but Josh, do you have any other business?
Nothing from me, David.
Well, that brings an end to this week's podcast. Thank you so much for listening. If you've been with us live on YouTube, thank you all very much for your questions and comments and getting involved with all the Wikifiles and stuff like that. It's been really good. It's been very busy in the chat, which is wonderful. So if you want to get hold of us before next week's show, you can find us on Twitter at Football Talk. But remember,
There's no A in
there's no
football.
football. So see you next week. Thanks for listening.